Hi, my name is Tom Schultz. I am the founder and CEO of Divine Inspirations. My company has developed a new disruptive software technology that we believe will revolutionize many industries. The first application of this technology has been packaged in a healthcare web application called Google RX. Google RX is extremely valuable for anyone who has ever experienced harm from a drug or concerned about potential drug harm. A report from USA Today in July 2013 revealed more Americans die from painkiller drugs than from heroin and cocaine combined. And since 2008, prescription drug-induced deaths have outstripped those from automobile accidents, according to the Center of Disease Control. Now, the extent of drug harm goes far beyond big headliners like death from painkillers. Let me tell you a personal story about myself. In the mid-90s, I developed a case of strep throat. Now, the classic way of treating strep throat is with an antibiotic. Doctors subsequently gave me an antibiotic. A couple of weeks later, I developed strong symptoms of ulcerative colitis. Now, the classic way of treating ulcerative colitis is with steroids. Subsequently, I was given prednisone, a strong steroid. A few months later, I was diagnosed with diabetes. Now, today, I still have both of those diseases. Years later, after all of this, I had asked a hospital nurse whether antibiotics could have caused my ulcerative colitis and whether steroids could have caused my diabetes. The response I got was, well, of course, everyone here knows that antibiotics can cause ulcerative colitis and steroids can cause diabetes. Well, I never heard of this. I was left feeling helpless and confused. I have learned that I am now left with chronic diseases that will reduce my quality of life and life expectancy and cost tens of thousands of dollars in out-of-pocket related expenses. By the time I realized all of this, it was too late to really do anything about it. Too late to bother reporting these drug-related incidences. Too late to pursue any kind of legal action. One of the great values of Google RX is in preventing such scenarios from happening. Google RX provides three powerful capabilities. One, ability to research the number of various drug-related side effects reported to the FDA and side effects known by the medical community. This is vastly different than drug commercials on TV that merely mention a drug may cause a particular side effect, but they never tell you how many people actually got a particular side effect. Two, ability to connect to the FDA to report any harmful drug side effect you might have experienced. Three, ability to connect to a law firm to seek compensation for any drug harm you might have experienced. You will see all of this and many more powerful capabilities of Google RX in the following demonstration. Google RX has a very simple interface. The user types in health-related search criteria and then presses carriage return or presses the button labeled Execute RX Search. Google RX has many powerful capabilities. One of the most powerful involves drug harm. With Google RX, you can type in search criteria consisting of drug names and/or harmful conditions and search for potential drug harm either reported to the FDA or known by the medical community. You can file a report with the FDA for any drug harm you might have experienced. You can also explore legal options and connect to a law firm to seek compensation for drug harm you might have experienced. All three in one application. Let's look at a scenario that covers all three of these. In this example, we will consider the drug prednisone. Imagine a few months ago you were prescribed the anti-inflammatory drug prednisone, and a few months later you develop diabetes. You would like to know if prednisone might have caused your diabetes. So within Google RX you would type the following: diabetes caused by prednisone. What is returned is a table of diabetes kinds of conditions potentially caused by prednisone drugs. The harm reported column indicates the number of reports filed with the FDA of diabetes claimed to have been caused by prednisone. We can sort this list by clicking on the column header. What we discover is Diabetes mellitus is the most reported diabetes side effect resulting from taking prednisone. We can click on 38 and drill into the details. What we see is that various forms of prednisone, in fact, have reportedly caused diabetes mellitus. Let's go back to the Google RX page. One of the things you can do is you can click on a link, for example, diabetes mellitus, and it will take you to a Wikipedia page that describes diabetes mellitus. Let's ask a slightly different question. Instead of asking diabetes caused by prednisone, let's ask the following. Steroids causing diabetes. It turns out prednisone is a kind of steroid. Executing this query returns 69 rows, and let's once again sort on harm reported. What we discover is, in fact, prednisone is one of the worst offenders of steroid drugs potentially causing diabetes. You'll notice a column labeled harm validated with values of Y for yes or N for no. Let's click on the Y. This takes us to the following page. This table indicates that the medical community is aware of the fact that prednisone is a steroid that potentially can cause diabetes. Let's summarize what we learned. We learned that prednisone is one of the largest offenders of steroid drugs potentially causing diabetes. We also learned that the medical community is aware of the fact that prednisone potentially can cause diabetes. We also read an article from Wikipedia describing diabetes mellitus. Diabetes is a very nasty disease. It's a chronic disease that can shorten your life expectancy and reduce your quality of life. If you are a diabetic and you think you got your diabetes from taking prednisone and you've learned all this information, you might be very frustrated. So the question you would ask, what can I do about it? Well, the thing to consider is you might want to file a report with the FDA of your diabetes you believe was caused by prednisone. So you click on the report button here, report adverse drug event. Clicking on this button will walk you through the portions of the form you need to fill out. Now you may decide after filing a report with the FDA that you would like to take an additional step, exploring legal options. This can be accomplished by clicking the button labeled Explore Legal Options. You have two choices. You can either fill out contact information, the name of the drug, and a description of the adverse event you experienced and click Submit. The application will return a message indicating that a lawyer from one of the law firms shown here will contact you within 1 business day. Choice number 2, you can simply directly click on a link yourself, taking you directly to a law firm page. There are advantages of following the first option of filling out contact information. Each of the law firms handles different kinds of drug harm cases. Google RX will connect you up to the one handling your kind of case. We just saw a powerful use of Google RX to search for potential harm caused by drugs, file a harm report with the FDA, and explore legal options to obtain financial compensation for harm experienced. All 3 in one application. Besides exploring drug side effects, contacting the FDA, or exploring legal options, Google RX provides many other powerful capabilities for the general public, healthcare providers, clinical researchers, healthcare payers, and population health managers. Consider the following examples. Google RX provides the ability to explore potential drug harm danger to family members. Imagine you have the following drugs in your medicine cabinet: prednisone, Advil, Avalox, and Percodan. and you would like to know if any of these drugs have any reported harmful side effects. To accomplish this, you add the following. Harm caused by. Let's sort the list via the harm reported column. What we see is drug abuse is the most reported harmful condition. Let's drill into the summary here, 1151. And let's now sort on the count column. And we see oxycodone is the drug with the most number of reports. Turns out Percodan contains oxycodone. So among our 4 drugs we listed in our medicine cabinet, it's Percodan that we have to be most concerned about. In addition to learning about reported harmful side effects of these drugs, we would also like to know if there are any potential side effects of taking any combination of these drugs at the same time. To accomplish this, we make the following change. Drug interactions associated with prednisone, Advil, Avelox, and Percodan. We see 110 harmful combinations of these various drugs. Google RX provides the ability to research current healthcare topics found in the news. Consider the May 5th, 2015 article entitled, "The 3 Deadliest Drugs Are Legal." At number 1, we see tobacco, followed by alcohol, followed by opiate painkillers. Let's use Google RX to research opiate drugs. We can type in the following: harm caused by opiate drugs. Let's sort on harm reported. And we discover drug abuse is the most reported side effect of opiate drugs. Let's drill down. And let's sort on the count column here. And we see that heroin has the most number of reports of drug abuse, followed close behind by oxycodone drugs. Google RX is extremely valuable to healthcare professionals such as healthcare payers and population health managers who are trying to manage healthcare costs. Google RX can be used to research the amount of money the government has spent on diseases such as diabetes, or a group of diseases such as autoimmune disease, or a body part such as the pancreas, or a group of body parts such as the endocrine system, or a drug such as oxycodone, or a group of drugs such as opiates. Consider the following. 2014 government cost associated with opiate drugs. Google RX returns the following. We see a number of columns. We see a column labeled drug cost. This particular number represents the total dollars spent by the federal government on this particular drug. We see another column labeled total criteria cost. The criteria in this case are opiate drugs. So we see that the federal government spent over $4 billion last year on opiate drugs. This next column is labeled total drug cost. This represents the total number of dollars spent by the federal government across all drugs. Opiate drugs, like most drugs, have many side effects. Let's use Google RX to research the number of dollars spent on treating the side effects of opiate drugs. We can do this as follows. We changed the original query to read as follows. 2014 government cost associated with drugs treating harm caused by opiate drugs. And here are the results. Google RX can be a very powerful tool enabling clinical researchers and healthcare providers to perform tasks such as tracking down patients in a network of hospitals for activities such as clinical trials. Consider the following. Aurora hospitals in southern Wisconsin with patients taking opiate drugs. Aurora Healthcare is a network of hospitals and healthcare facilities throughout Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Executing this query returns the following. What we see is the following. We see a number of Aurora hospitals having a variety of patients, these patients taking a number of drugs which are classified as opiate drugs. You have just witnessed a demonstration of Google RX. The examples illustrate the use of Google RX by an average person to perform powerful search and compute capabilities in seconds or minutes. What normally could take weeks or months to achieve by a team of highly skilled technical professionals. Google RX represents the first of a revolutionary new breed of applications supporting a disruptive new knowledge inference search and compute paradigm created by Divine Inspirations. The demonstration version of Google RX you witnessed utilized a small set of reported drug harm data from the FDA, drug cost data from CMS's Medicaid drug rebate program, and fabricated data representing fictitious patient data from Aurora hospitals. The Healthcare Knowledge Base UMLS from the National Library of Medicine was used to classify this underlying data. The powerful knowledge inference search and compute capabilities demonstrated utilized a software technology called TCSQL from Divine Inspirations. The production version of Google RX will be readily available in the fall of 2015. Use of Google RX to the general public will be free of charge. If you are a healthcare provider, a healthcare payer, population health manager, clinical researcher, medical coder, or a law firm, and you wish to become a customer of Google RX, please contact me as follows. I hope you enjoyed watching this demonstration, and thank you for your time.